PB is a 130. Well, on the leaderboard, it's a 137.42. I think he has a 136, but I could be wrong. But in any case, PhantomMat does have a good 5 minutes he can save on his PB. So, just based on their PBs alone, it's going to be a lot closer, I think, than you may expect.
Yeah, and P-Dog also has not been practicing.
Yeah, I think
Well,
P-Dog's been
Matt
busy
has.
with real life, so he hasn't been able to put in, as much practice as I'm sure he'd like.
Oh no, he's been putting in exactly as much as he'd like. So they're heading over to the beach and grabbing the sword.
And P-Dog got the disclude clip.
Saving the frames.
Yep. Every frame counts. See a small variation, P-Dog going for quick swords from the top, whereas Matt's going to do it from the bottom.
Oh, and P-Dog doesn't even go for the damage boost, that's interesting.
Well, funny enough, the damage boost only saves optimally 3 frames over simply doing what P-Dog did.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's kind of purely a swag thing.
It's worth it, though.
It is technically worth it.
Alright, and now they're going to be killing some enemies and trying to duplicate their rupees, where when a rupee drops on both the shield or sword hitbox and Link's hitbox at the same time, you just pick it up twice. And they want a total of 10 rupees before entering the shop.
And they're both getting great luck to finish that beach section with anything over 6 really is a great start. So they're just going to come into this bush field, collect that 1 seashell that they're going to want for later, and just hopefully get their remaining 2 rupees. And P-Dog's already on his way and head right to the shop. Matt having a bit more trouble here, getting terrible luck. He only needs 2 rupees, and the field just does not want to give it to him. Funny enough, it's a 1 in 16 chance to get a rupee drop when you cut a piece of grass or a bush. So if you were to clear the entire screen there, you should get an average of 4.5 rupees. But as we can see, sometimes you get far worse than the average.
And of course, Matt gets 2 when he only needs 1 more.
Yeah. Has to reload the screen and then he gets more than enough rupees. So Matt already a little bit behind because of poor luck, but they're still very close. We've seen some absolutely terrible luck in this tournament, and we've seen some absolutely fantastic luck too. P-Dog getting better luck in this run than Matt, but both of them relatively average.
You know, I am glad that we decided not to go with a save file thing where it had 10 rupees.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes the run certainly interesting from the get-go, with, with imbalance of luck.
And Matt is very much struggling with the bow.
Yeah, the shopkeeper, his cycles can be random, and it's very hard to necessarily predict it or manipulate it in any sort of way. There's sort of a feeling to it, but I think it's largely just luck.
Yeah, it's just, like, he can either move instantly or take a while, and if he moves instantly, it's just, you're not prepared for that, and you just mess it up every time.
Yeah, and you just have to go back and try again.
Because you have to, wait different amounts of time, depending on how long it takes for him to turn.
P-Dog looked like he got the quick sword off the owl cutscene there. Now, he's gonna bomb trigger Karen here. He had to kill that moblin, or else this trick wouldn't work for whatever reason. But he actually got it really quickly, too. He placed 1 bomb on the edge of the first screen, and then as he transitioned, he quickly placed a 2nd bomb on the next. And by placing 2 bombs in such quick succession, the game kind of overlaps. It hasn't quite despawned the bomb sprites, and it kind of overlaps states onto the Terran sprite, and long story short, it confuses the game into advancing Terran to a state he wasn't meant to be in, thus transforming him from the raccoon form back to normal form, saving us having to powder him and wait through his little cutscene.
You forgot to mention the part where he explodes.
Yeah, just explodes.
This game likes to explode things.
Yeah, we'll see an exploding pineapple later. But P-Dog's already in D1 here, and Matt's on his way. We see P-Dog making a slight detour in the dungeon. He bombed open that wall, and in there is a hidden optional secret seashell. So we already see early on them collecting a number of seashells, as it's important to get an appropriate number at certain points of the run, so they can get extra seashell rewards from the Seashell Mansion. Ooh!
P-Dog is...
Oh,
no! Matt is
so
back in this.
Yeah, not a very costly death, but given how close they are, it definitely brings Matt back into it. So those spike beetles are kind of obnoxious in the randomness and where they which direction they decide to move when you enter the room. You just kind of have to react your best to it. You have to flip them over by bunking them with the shield. And it looked like on the second beetle there, P-Dog just kind of... He went to bump him with the shield, thought he got it, but was just like a pixel away and turned around, and then got damaged, fell in the hole, and died, unfortunately. But it looks like he's made a quick recovery, and he's still a few seconds ahead of Matt.
Yeah, I'd say he's like 10 seconds ahead still.
Yeah. Matt having a clean room with the spike beetles, though. Not getting one of the quicker bonks into the pits, which is, fairly hard to execute, just going for the reliable strat of flipping them and doing a sword spin.
And Matt is not opting to go for the quick strat for this room where you equip the bow immediately, which saves a menu, because, to be honest, it is pretty hard to not fall in.
Yeah. And in the scheme of things, the sword makes that room a lot easier, and it's only going to cost him 2 seconds for that extra menu he's going to have to do later.
Yeah, and it'll save him some arrows.
Yeah, of course, too. Arrows can be very tight in this run, especially before we get the arrow upgrade. So he might be glad to have those extra arrows.
Alright, P-Dog coming up on the hardest boss in the game, Molder. Let's see.
And we're not memeing. That was a pretty clean fight. And we're not joking about it. Moldorm is actually a very difficult boss. There's no quick kill for him. We just have to react to him, get some good jumps in, and while it is possible to make him look very easy, he can also just get stuck in a corner, he'll clink off his head, and it's a very real possibility to fall into these pits accidentally and have to redo the fight. Ooh, as Matt almost showed us, but thankfully he didn't.
Yeah, this is legitimately the hardest boss in the run.
Yeah, at least from an execution standpoint. There are bosses that are kind of hard to deal with from a luck standpoint, but Moldorm is very difficult from an execution standpoint. So one of the unique points about the 100% run versus, say, our main category, any percent run, is that we're not just simply going to be booking it from dungeon to dungeon as quickly as we can. There's going to be a lot of little side quest things, or going out of our way to pick up some items, heart pieces, seashells, and such, as we make our way between the dungeons. So it'll kind of ramp up a bit. Between D1 and D2, there's not a whole lot to do, but we see P-Dog coming to this log cave. He's going to do a cool little spin jump there to get those crystals early, and he's getting a 50 rupee chest there, and he's coming into this room now. Normally you'd need the bracelet from D2 to get this heart piece, but he just did a slick super jump to hop over those obstacles and get to that heart piece quickly. And what that is it's possible to walk really tightly against solid objects and solid tiles, such that Link's sprite is 2 to 3 pixels kind of clipped into the wall, so we call it wall clipping. And by being in such a position, you fool the game into thinking that Link's position is actually on that wall tile, and by facing away from a wall, you can kind of jump off of it as if it's a ledge, as if you were on the other side of it. And we'll be using that quite often in this run to get extra distance and crossing obstacles that we wouldn't otherwise be able to.
And they are now making their way to the first semi-permanently missable thing, the first picture, because if you get Bow Wow before going into this photo booth, he won't let you get the picture until you return Bow Wow, which is just horrible. And he also, if you don't go in there, you can't even get any of the other pictures. So it's just really bad when that happens.
Yeah, this visit is very important so we can activate the cutscenes for all the other photos we're going to be getting. And just to mention, they both picked up that 50 rupee chest in the log cave, and it's going to be important much later in the run where, as part of the requirement of collecting all the items, I forgot to mention that we're also going to be collecting all 3 songs for the ocarina. The first 2 are free, but the third one costs you 300 rupees. So it's important to gather enough rupees at optimal locations over the course of the run. So that first 50 is very quick and easy to get. And depending on the route we see these guys using, we'll either see them collecting the additional 250 in the color dungeon, using a funny little glitch we've got, or we'll see them collecting extra rupees on the beach and then in Dungeon 5. And
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say they both collected they both collected Bow Wow, our other dog friend, to let them into Dungeon 2. We will need Bow Wow for getting a photo later, but more importantly, we can't get into Dungeon 2 past those flowers without Bow Wow eating them. And they both got reasonable luck there to get in, because if you don't get lucky, it can take Bow Wow sometimes 30 seconds or more to decide to eat the flower.
Oh, and P-Dog almost fell in the pit there. That room is like really annoying to get through if you fall in the pit after hitting the switch.
Yeah, because you're just not used to those the different movement.
Yeah, it's just horrible. Alright, so now we come into this room with this random statue. I don't know why it's there. It's just kind of there.
What, the Hinox?
Oh, it has a name?
Yeah.
Whoa. P-Dog coming up on Ghost Skip, where he's going to shoot the ghosts out of the room, or in his instance, he's gonna use Sword, and that will put them at the other side of the room, where they think the pathing to Link is fastest to just go left, and they'll just go out of bounds, and the game thinks they're dead.
Yeah, I guess due to the respawning nature of the ghosts, they don't have like a concrete health value attached to them, so the game handles them in that way. But we can just abuse that to our advantage.
Yeah, P-Dog gets a very nice boss key room there. You have to kill all those enemies in a specific order, and the Stalfos can just troll you so hard.
And P-Dog having a very good dungeon too. We do see there, though, he was standing on the tile where the staircase spawns a little too early. Because oddly enough, if you're standing there when the staircase spawns, you actually won't trigger the warp. You'll have to walk off of it and walk back onto it.
Oh,
so kind of just an annoyance of being too quick.
Alright, let's see if Matt goes for the swag strat here.
The bomb strat?
Nope. Alright, so instead of picking up this pot like you're supposed to, you can actually just pick up a bomb and it will also lower the platform, because the game doesn't check if you're actually holding the pot, it just checks if you're holding something.
Which is just something really funny that we only just recently decided to check into, and it turns out it's actually a slightly faster trick. Ooh, P-Dog missing the second bomb on that boss, but he does clean it up.
He almost died.
Yeah, that was tricky, because he went for a backup shot there, but accidentally hit the sconce instead of hitting the boss.
Yeah, he'll be fine on arrows, though.
Yeah. And bombs as well. Because we're going to be getting the bomb upgrade right after this dungeon. So he's got a good deal extra.
Yeah, the bomb route for this run is not tight at all, but if you have like a proper arrow route, you should either completely run out when you're supposed to, or almost run out.
Yeah. Now, P-Dog is heading off to the east here. He's going to head to the waterfall area of the map, where we will be returning later for Dungeon 4. And because we're going to be returning is precisely why he's going there now. There's a portal there that there's 4 of them on the island, and this is going to be the first one we unlock. And it's actually, it turns out to be a second or 2 faster to go.
P-Dog.
Messing up his pathing a little bit there. But he's just going to enter this screen where the portal is, thus activating it, and save and quit and go back to the back to D2. Because it's actually a bit faster to go out of your way now and then warp back there later.
Yep, and P-Dog now picking up the Heart Piece of Shame, which is not shameful anymore.
Because we actually need it.
It's still shameful if you pick it up early, though.
Yeah, a little bit. So this is the first of those capacity upgrades I had mentioned. And because we have the powder, the bombs, and the arrows at this point, P-Dog could choose to upgrade any one of the 3. But it's very important for the routing to upgrade bombs now, because we still have enough arrows, we never need powder, but we're low on bombs. So he has to be careful to say no to the first request, because the bat will always offer to upgrade powder first. And we see he made the right choice. He said no to powder and yes to bombs.
Yeah, we actually only need 11 powder in the entire run.
Yeah, powder's really not too much of a concern. We need it to activate those upgrade shrines. We need it for a mini-boss in the Color Dungeon. And we need it when we enter D2. And possibly on the final boss if we don't get the quick kill. But other than those few instances, we don't need that much.
And to touch on this a little bit, as far as routing goes, I don't know if they'll be using the same route, but neither of them are using the most recent route.
Yeah, because P-Dog learned this game back before the new route, and I don't think he's had the time to learn the new route yet. And as for Matt, I think he also learned it just before we rerouted the game, and I don't think he's put the time in yet. I know he's been meaning to, but I don't know if he was able to do it before this race.
Yeah, I do believe they'll be using the same route, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
It'll at least be a lot easier to follow if they're on the same route.
Yeah, I hope they are.
And when we say old route... Oh,
go ahead.
No, this is more important, definitely.
Alright, P-Dog is coming up on what's called Villa Skip, where he's going to pause buffer on top of this pit, and our RNG will decide for him when he hears that falling sound, which he just did, and he can just buffer down, and it will just let him transition. And by doing that, we skipped almost the entire trading sequence.
Yeah, so by pausing on the frame that Link would fall, we actually interrupt the fall, and he'll instead kind of get pushed down a few pixels onto the tile that's hidden below the menu on screen, which just happens to be a tile you can stand on.
And Matt is struggling a little, but he got it.
And I didn't get the count, but P-Dog's was actually very quick, I think.
I think it was 4 or 5 or something.
Oh, was it? Okay. Still not terrible, but yeah. You're totally at the whim of the game for this trick.
Yeah, honestly, anything under 6 is good in my book.
Yeah, definitely. And then they both use a similar trick to kind of clip on top of the pit, such that when they transition, the bush kind of pushes them. They're kind of on a solid tile when they're not supposed to be, and the game will just have them fall as if they fell off a cliff until they land on the next available tile. So they use that to both get in and get out of that garden. And we didn't mention it, but we see Matt just finishing his series of Jesus jumps there by pausing on the first frame. You see Link splash in the water. You can then, when unpausing, get either a frame of input or a frame of movement. And in this case, we see them buffer an input to transition on top of the water. And they do that because otherwise they would need the flippers to get that seashell on that little island. But it's much nicer to be able to get it while they're here at D3.
Yep, and P-Dog gets a piece of power there, which in this dungeon is only viable for this run in this dungeon because the piece of power drops every 30 kills you get, and it increases your speed and doubles your damage. But if you save and quit, your kill count resets. So this is the only dungeon where we go long enough without saving and quitting to be able to get a piece of power.
Yeah, and it's actually surprising how much the speed boost does add up for a full dungeon. But it's even more important in this dungeon because the extra damage and knockback allows us for a nice quick kill of the final boss, which hopefully we'll get to see from these runners.
Oh, and Matt takes a hit after getting his piece of power, which hopefully doesn't result in him losing it.
Yeah, so you can only take 3 hits of any... It doesn't matter the damage, but 3 singular hits before you lose piece of power. And it doesn't usually come into play in this dungeon simply because you're not in a lot of situations that you can take damage. So hopefully it won't matter for Matt taking that early hit.
I'm not sure why, but Matt just took another hit. He just walked straight into the Stalfos. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's not used to doing the boss with it? If he ends up taking another hit intentionally, then that means he's definitely doing it because he wants to not have to do the quick kill. Oh no, P-Dog! P-Dog dies. That is not good. No. Alright, Matt is struggling a little with this 2D section, but he is now in the lead. So yeah, Matt is now coming up on the boss. And let's see what he does, because he does still have piece of power, so I still don't know why he took that intentional hit. But we'll see him doing a nice little quick kill here where he just... Oh, he didn't get it, but that's okay. Where he just bonks twice to avoid getting stunned, then he splits him up, dashes into him twice, and just bonks again to avoid getting stunned, and he just falls on your sword and dies, essentially. And P-Dog is still struggling.
So it looks like P-Dog got his second dong skip, and he's now headed to the boss as well.
Yeah, you missed it, but he died.
Oh, did he? Did he die in the boss?
He died right at the end of the boss.
That sucks. That's really unfortunate. It's kind of tight timing and positioning to make sure that you can kill the final blob without him necessarily landing on you.
Yeah, and P-Dog also doesn't have a piece of power anymore now, so he needs to equip Feather, and it's just all kinds of horrible.
But
please don't die again. P-Dog, don't. Oh no. He must be, like, dying right now.
Well, yeah,
IRL.
I'm sure he's rattled by it, and it's just not a way to kill that you can't, that you don't usually prepare for, you know?
Yeah. Alright, so I don't think Matt will be doing this, but, you can actually skip this Terran cutscene by... Oh, he is doing it. By, doing exactly what Matt just did. Buffering 2 save and quit menus out of that, text box, and you'll, like, get the item, but because you save and quit, the cutscene will not play. And, the flag for having gotten that item is still set, so you can just go and pick it up. Yeah, Matt is now heading over to the Seashell Mansion, where he is going to pick up another seashell.
Yeah, so we will be coming back here at the near the end of the run, or later in the run, to get the final prize of 20 seashells, which is the level 2. But oddly enough, if you show up there when you have exactly 5 or exactly 10 seashells, there's 2 additional prizes you can get, which just happen to be extra bonus seashells. So it's very handy to route those into our runs when we just happen to be in the area.
Yeah, so
yes, and sorry, that's
menuing from Matt.
I also just want to apologize for the speed police coming to get me, bleeding through my mic.
You're not fast enough.
I know,
You
they
need
keep
to talk
getting me. But I'm glad to see P-Dog clutched it, and he's now going to move on as well.
Finally.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's just horrible. Okay, so Matt didn't go for it, but you can actually save 11 whole frames by doing the same thing we did with the Karen cutscene on the pineapple.
Yeah, 11 frames optimally too. So.
So it's just not worth it, but it's worth it for the swag.
Well, I sort of wonder if it's worth it at all. I mean, I don't know how frame perfectly people can save and quit such that they don't lose time there.
Well, I do think it's worth it to at least try to get that frame perfectly, honestly. Because instead of doing 2 buffers, you can also try to close the text box and then open your save quit menu like 2 frames later, and you'll get it with 1 buffer, and it'll actually save 2 seconds.
And we've triggered Saigas in chat. He lives for the frames. Every frame matters. So Matt, quickly in and out, does a nice super jump to get to that ocarina early without having to go all the way around the outside of the Dream Shrine there. And of course, the ocarina is important because we're going to be getting our first few songs pretty soon.
Yeah, and now for a very important part of the run, Fish the Pond present. Oh no, Matt. He was trying to get that fish at the top so he could get the big one in the little alcove, but now he has to fish again. Because he got the middle one by accident. And the reason we are fishing here is because that big fish actually has a heart piece. Oh, I was really scared he was gonna get another big fish there. Or a small one, rather. Alright, so now Matt is going to grab... I don't know what he's doing. Okay, he did that by accident. He's going to grab a couple of pictures, and then he's going to make his way over to Marin. Also, finally returning the demonic beast that is Bow Wow. Also, this cutscene is RNG. It's RNG how far back he knocks you, and you can save time with it. It needs to be mentioned. And now getting that other picture he needs to get here, and then he is going to be on his way. Meanwhile, P-Dog is still at the an animal village, grabbing the pineapple. And actually, the reason we grabbed that pineapple is because it's the trigger for Marin to spawn on the beach. And we need Marin to get some pictures taken. Ooh, and I think Matt will be going for the nut grab here. A very important trick. Oh, and he gets it. Very nice. Very nice. Nice nut grab there.
Yeah, we don't see enough of those.
Alright, RNG seagulls. These seagulls are RNG. Let's see. They can totally ruin your run, by the way. If they fly the wrong way, you will get 37 blue balls in the end. This has been scientifically proven.
Yeah, with only the best science.
LADX science. Alright, and he just lifts up Marin and saves and quits.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, Link might be the hero, the savior of this island, but he does treat women like objects. Which is not a good lesson to learn.
No, definitely not.
Ooh, Matt's not going to get the quick exit from the well. Just a minor optimization.
Yeah. Alright, now he's going to bonk across this pit. unless he just menus for Feather. Ooh,
Those
not even
Octoroks,
making
man.
it there.
Look
Yeah,
at
he's just
that.
going to menu for it. They were just being awful. Wow, this RNG
They
is
still are being
horrible.
awful.
Oh no!
I can hear him now.
Oh yeah. Alright, he
There.
made it.
God.
And the only reason he's going here is for this seashell.
Yeah, hidden in a tree that you would never think to find. It was probably Matt's bad Seagull RNG that was just coming back to bite him there.
Yeah, definitely.
But we got P-Dog playing catch-up. He's now going to come get Marin himself. While Matt's on his second date with Marin. Takes her to the cliff.
Alright, and let's see if P-Dog goes for the nut grab.
Yes, Cravone, those seagulls are in fact RNG. Keep a close eye on P-Dog's screen. Oh, double nut grab.
Gets the nut grab. Very nice. Alright, so Matt now going for the final collection thing in this segment, and then moving on to kill the walrus. Well, actually, he has one more thing to get, but doesn't matter. Ooh, P-Dog gets pretty bad Seagull RNG, it seems. Alright, so now Matt is going to make his way over to the walrus, gonna wake him up, and do some other stuff, essentially.
Yeah, so he's finished with all the cleanup and made, so he's gonna head to Animal Village.
Yeah, this entire segment between Dungeon 3 and 4 is just getting things. A lot of things.
Lots of photos, lots of heart pieces, lots of seashells. It's
lots of everything.
Yeah, it's a 15-minute segment between the two dungeons.
Oh, and Matt is going for Walrus Skip. I don't know what he was trying to do there, but he tried something.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to do it unbuffered.
I guess he
Either way,
figures he can go for it, and then, yeah, so we see him fail, and he just talks to the walrus instead.
It's not that much faster anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it might even be faster if you fail it to just talk to him instead of trying again. I'm not really sure.
It's probably about the same. Alright, so now he is going to make his way over to a pit of quicksand, and he's just gonna kill some nothingness.
It's a very friendly pit. Just by visiting here, it's a lonely sand pit. It'll give you a key as thanks for stopping by.
Maybe that sand pit was just looking for some arrows, and you gave it to it.
Yeah, I mean, every time I watch a run of this game, I always just wonder, like, why didn't they put, like, for example, Landmolus there? You know, that'd be a great enemy to have in sand pit.
I still do believe that there's just a ghost there.
Yeah, just a friendly key ghost.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just the ghost we see later, but he doesn't want to reveal himself yet.
Yeah, he's shy.
And then he realizes, hey, you were nice to me. I will follow you around later.
Although him following us is really more of a punishment, so, you know, I don't know what we did to upset him.
Yeah, but either way, Matt is now making his way back, and it seems like the stream is struggling a little bit.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of buffering on my end as well.
We'll just pretend we know what's going on. Okay, we're back. So yeah, he's just gonna make his way back, and then get a final heart piece, and then grab the first song. So for this heart piece, he's actually going to use a bomb trigger, where he's gonna just equip Feather and bombs, and then bomb trigger the transition, and because picking up a heart piece is an event, it'll just give him the heart piece, and he doesn't have to go all the way around through the cave.
It is kind of an interesting puzzle to get that heart piece normally, but it would be quite a time sink to do it properly.
Yeah, it would be so horrible. And even just using a bomb arrow instead of going all the way around through the cave would just be so much better.
Yeah, that too.
Because what you're supposed to do in that cave, well, obviously you can't see it, but you're supposed to like find a wall to bomb first of all, which is just already horrible. And then you need to walk all the way around, throw a bomb into the other side of the cave to break a block, then go back around and use the hook shot to get to the heart piece. It's just no, really. And right about now, Matt will probably be getting his first song, Marin's song. And because he'll have a song, that's actually going to make the ocarina really, really horrible in his menu, because now, once he has a song, every time he hovers over it, it's going to bring up a sub-menu that takes a century to get rid of. And you can't even get rid of it by pressing left or right either. No, it has to be up or down, or you'll just be switching songs. Alright, so moving on, Matt will be coming up on Obstacle Skip pretty soon. We're just gonna commentate even though we can't see anything. We don't want this to be silence. So Matt enters D4. He is pretty low on hearts actually, so I hope he doesn't end up dying. Yeah, it seems like the stream is being fixed. Something like that anyway. Alright, so Matt is struggling a little in D4. I really hope he doesn't die. Alright, he'll be fine. Oh, and the stream is back up. Alright, so he's gonna use this use a bomb arrow to get rid of the block and just pick up the key. And normally you pick up 2 keys in this section of the dungeon, but we're actually gonna skip skip the mini boss by doing a Jesus jump. So yeah, Matt's just taking it safe here, equipping sword because he is on half a heart. And I really hope he doesn't die. Alright, so he gets the Jesus jump. Please don't die, Matt. Pick up the hearts now. Thank you. Okay, he's fine. Shit. Just gotta solve this puzzle, and he's gonna make his way over to the flipper. Yes, this is a single flipper. Right, meanwhile, I didn't see if P-Dog got Obstacle Skip, but if he didn't, he'll be banned. Trust me on this. Alright, so Matt is now going for the boss key super jump, where he's just gonna get rid of those pots, and super jump, think against the P-hat, and that will just put him on the platform. And that skips like half the dungeon. So does this jump.
I was just helping you commentate D4 with my microphone on mute.
Oh no, I was wondering why you were muted.
Well, the timing of your responses was perfect, and like we were having a great conversation.
Oh really?
So I didn't realize I was having it with myself.
Oh no. Oh, and Matt almost dies. he has been clutching this dungeon so hard.
Keeping it together, though.
Yeah, definitely. Alright, so, B-Dog also making his way over to this puzzle. He seems to be pulling it back, whatever. Pulling ahead
he's really
again.
not far behind at this point.
Yeah, he's struggling in this room. This room is just awful if you don't come in with the spin slash.
Yeah, like if you enter too quickly and your sword's not charged, or you accidentally poke one of the Zals, it can just get out of hand so quickly because they'll hop all over you. There's fireballs being shot at you, and it's just a real pain.
Alright, time for best song.
Don't forget to post your O's in chat. Very important.
Alright, can we ban sagas?
Unfortunately, I'm not a
guy?
mod in this chat, so I cannot ban Sagas, but we can just ignore him and pretend
Alright.
he's banned.
Sounds like a good plan. Alright, Matt is now making his way over to dungeon 5, I think? Yeah. Dungeon 5.
Yeah,
but
so for
before he goes there, he's just gonna have to take this ghost that we saw in the sand pit before, take him to his grave, and it takes like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know why this ghost chose us, but we've got to take him on a little quest to visit his old home, and then take him back to his grave. And it is possible to skip this guy depending on how we route things in the game, but we do actually need to finish his side quest to get a photo.
So Matt is now going to bomb trigger the very end of the trade sequence. And he's just going to get the Mermaid's Bra from this.
So we skipped the early trade sequence by the game just being bad to get the honeycomb early. But here we're going to bomb trigger and skip everything after the pineapple and just, yeah, immediately get the bra.
Yep, and in current routes we can actually save and quit on this mermaid like we did with the honeycomb, which is actually semi-frame perfect, but you can buffer it. But neither Matt nor P-Dog will be going for that because they're not using the current route. And the ghost is being a pain as per usual. He can just talk to you for no reason. It's just horrible.
Yeah, just in case you've forgotten he's there, he'll just open a text box and ask you to take him to his house again. And it seems to be based on the amount of time you spend on a screen, but it also kind of seems semi-random. We haven't really looked into it too far yet, but it's really irritating.
Yeah, he always talks to you on this screen though.
Yeah.
So like that's not a problem.
He wants to look around a little bit, and unfortunately that's not it. He's still going to follow us around and continue to bug us to take him now to his grave, so we're only halfway through.
Alright, so now Matt is going back. I'm not sure what the what his route's gonna be doing, but I believe he's just gonna he's struggling. He's just going to be taking a couple seashells from this place and then end the arrow upgrade and make it over to Color Dungeon.
Yeah. So yeah, it works out well that we have to go visit the ghost's house because we can get these 2 seashells while we're down here. And we have to be here anyway for the upgrade shrine. And this is gonna be our second upgrade shrine, and we're gonna see runners once again being very careful to say no to the powder upgrade, and this time opting for the arrows.
And I'm not sure what happened. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I'm not sure with this older route what they're pretty low on arrows, so it's very important at this point to restock. What were you gonna say though?
I'm not sure what happened. P-Dog just caught up a lot. And I have no idea how.
Right behind.
Did he forget something? I hope not.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because I don't think Matt's been playing that bad.
It's possible that P-Dog, I wasn't really watching, P-Dog might be getting the scale from the mermaid later. Whereas Matt got it immediately
That's
afterwards.
probably it, yeah.
Because in the older route, it was faster to simply get the bra from the fisherman, go about the ghost quest, and then on your return trip, you would get the fisherman photo and the scale.
Just call it a confirmation from chat that he did not get the bra. So yeah, he'll be doing that after D5.
So they'll look a bit closer for now, but Matt does have an extra thing that an extra couple things that P-Dog doesn't.
Well, doesn't he only have the bra? No, or the scale.
Right. Neither one of them.
Pretty sure
has
that's the only difference. Yeah. Alright, so finally taking the ghost back to his grave for this single picture. That's the only reason we had to do all that. Alright, and now making it to Horrible Cave. That's the name of this cave, I'm not making this up. Where you gotta do a dash jump to grab that heart piece, so it's not that bad. But what comes after is absolutely horrible, because that bat will just sit on the staircase and just hit you into the pit.
And I mean, the gimmick of this cave is that you're supposed to blow up that cracked block and use a hook shot to get across, and then jump to the heart piece. But there's the way we do it there, where we do a nice little dash jump to get across it, and it's also easy to just do just a diagonal jump over to that hookshot block. So it's a very easy puzzle to break. So this is the color dungeon. This was the dungeon that was added specifically for the remake version, the DX version, and you don't get a heart container for beating it, you don't get an instrument for beating it, but you will meet a fairy who will give you either the blue tunic or the red tunic at the end. And it's an interesting dungeon. It has a lot of unique puzzles centered around color, and the whole dungeon concept. It's got a very retro feel to it, including the Zelda 1 dungeon music remix, and a very similar kind of discrete room vibe to it, compared to some of the more open level design of the other original levels.
Yeah, Matt also just went out of his way to grab some extra rupees because he was still 10 short from having to fish again, or 5 or something. He was short on rupees anyway. He's fine now.
And Matt seemingly doesn't know the setup for the blob quick kill.
Yeah, I know he forgot. So you're supposed to just jump into that room and then jump up again, and you can just unlock him really easily.
Now, he doesn't have too much trouble with the boss. Oh, P-Dog doesn't do it either.
Oh, yeah.
But it is unfortunate to see...
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, it's unfortunate to see runners not go for the quick kill, simply because it just makes the boss absolutely free.
Yeah, but I do think P-Dog just accidentally jumped, like, on a diagonal instead of straight up.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's too bad.
It happens.
And yeah, in that 4 statue room that they just both went through, there's a hidden room below it filled with about 175 rupees, if I'm not wrong. And in newer routes, we would visit that room twice to get our additional 250 rupees that were missing. So neither runner did that. We're going to see them, when they go to the beach, they're going to be returning to the beach at a certain point to get a boomerang. And they're going to pick up 50 rupees there, and then in D5, we're going to see them grab an extra 200 rupees as well. So that'll be the route that they use to get all the rupees they need.
Alright, and Matt is now in the bingo room, which is just a very RNG-based room where they have to hit all these guys into their colored pits, and it's just awful.
It's kind of an interesting mechanic. It's kind of fun, but you're just such at the whim of their movement. Like their initial movement can really set the stage for how the room is going to go. So it can be a real struggle sometimes.
Oh yeah, and actually P-Dog pulls ahead.
Yeah, and reminder that P-Dog will still have to get the scale, as he doesn't have that yet, but we do see that P-Dog had a much better color dungeon than Matt.
Yeah, Matt struggled a bit.
Yeah, but they both had a really good time with that boss, just a combination of good luck and mashing the arrows. Ooh, and we get to see a divergence in strats. So P-Dog grabbing the blue tunic, which has a permanent effect similar to the Guardian Acorn, which will reduce all incoming damage that he takes by half. Doesn't matter what he hits or how, it's going to be half damage. Whereas PhantomMat goes for the red tunic, which similarly is a permanent effect similar to the Piece of Power, which is going to give his sword double damage on almost all enemies and apply a knockback effect.
And I think they might actually just be dead tied right now because their timers are out of sync.
They're out of sync in the wrong direction.
Are they?
Yeah, like...
No, P-Dog's be farther ahead.
Yeah, but P-Dog's gonna have to wait to get the scale.
Ah, whatever. Alright, now they're moving on to the heart piece in the castle moat, which no one knows how you're supposed to know that's there. You're just supposed to look at every pixel of every screen and find this heart piece or something. And I hope Matt gets a fairy, because he is running low on hearts.
Yeah, Matt's really low, and P-Dog's honestly not doing that great either. He's less than half health as well. I guess neither one of them grabbed it.
Blue tunic.
Yeah, Blue Tunic's gonna make it a lot easier to survive for sure, but neither one of them seemed to grab the fairy after beating the color dungeon boss.
Yeah, so let's see what their routes are going to do next. So P-Dog will still have to be grabbing some stuff here, while Matt's already done it. And it appears that Matt is going for early lens, and with it early hookshot.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, he is flipped into the railing, so he's higher than you would normally want to be. So we're gonna have to see how this works out. I think he also
started buffering early, so he might not get it. I don't know what he's doing.
Wait, he started select buffering really late. I don't think he's gonna get this.
Oh?
His initial... Wow, okay, that's a very lenient.
Please buffer the super jump. He did not buffer the super jump. It always scares me so much when you have the top setup where you already have feather and sword equipped, and you can't buffer the super jump.
I know, buffering the super that super jump has to be done extremely quickly to get enough distance across, and that strat being that you don't have the free buffer, yeah.
Alright, so while P-Dog moves on to Dungeon 5, Matt will be going to get the boomerang, because she's going to be doing a trick called early hookshot in D5, which we'll get into later. Oh, I hope he can still make the cycle on this photo. No, he can't. So he accidentally jumped once instead of talking to the fisherman, so he had to wait for the photographer to move all the way back and forth again.
Yeah, just one of those silly things. So, if you guys pay attention to P-Dog's route through Dungeon 5, he went to that left side, did that push block puzzle, got a key, and immediately left. He's going to be doing D5 more or less the intended way, where he's going to chase Master Stalfos across his 4 boss rooms until he finally defeats him to get the hookshot, and then he'll make his way to the boss. Whereas we see PhantomMat right now swimming his way over to the cave on the beach, where he's going to get the boomerang earlier than P-Dog, and it'll be interesting to see how well Matt gets early hookshot, but it's a 50-50 trick where he can get the hookshot early and kind of blaze his way through the dungeon directly to the boss.
Yeah, and our routes won't converge again until P-Dog also has the boomerang.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, and our timers are back in sync.
Yep. So Matt there grabbed the 50 rupees from the beach, so that's part of his route. And he also makes use of the second trip around this side of the world to get a seashell from the ghost house, the house by the bay there. After you've returned the ghost to his grave, he leaves a little present for you back in his house.
So P-Dog now fighting Master Selfos for the 3rd time.
And Matt at half a heart.
Oh. If I were him, I would have just taken a death right outside the Boomerang Cave.
Yeah, that would be a really quick death.
Let's just hope he'll be fine, because there's like a lot of things that can hit you here.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll enter the photo booth. Yeah, alright, he's fine. Just entering that photo booth to set a save point for safety.
Matt is all too familiar with the shenanigans of the bomb fairies. Although it looks like the one time he goes for the safety warp, the bomb fairy gets it right out of his way.
Yeah, so P-Dog now going for Dumb Jump, and he gets it first try. That's actually a really, really difficult jump, and you're supposed to have the hookshot for it, but he doesn't yet.
Yeah, so because of P-Dog's route through Dungeon 5, it's a lot faster to get the key while you're there before you have the hookshot, rather than going back afterwards. And we even saw him get a safety heart from the Goomba, because he wasn't quite confident in his jump, but he nails it first try.
Alright, so Matt is now coming up on early hookshot, where he is going to kill the enemies in the room first, because they can just really mess you up here. And he's gonna spawn the key in this room, and then use the boomerang to pull it into the other room. And then there's a 50% chance the game will be like, hey, there's an item in this room. Therefore, it must be the hookshot, because that's usually where you get the hookshot. And he gets it first try, very nice.
You always like to see that.
Yeah, no peach juice here today.
Not making juice. So it's just, the game makes use of a lot of custom code, kind of overlays it on top of existing code, where the game is sort of programmed universally to give a key reward in any given room if you tell it to do so. So in that 4th room, when you defeat Master Stalfos, the game will just reward you with the default room reward, which is a key. But the game applies a unique chunk of code just for that room that converts that small key into a hookshot. And it just so happens that with the boomerang, you can tow the small key along with you through the transition and collect it on that screen, thus giving you a hookshot when you're not supposed to have it.
Right, so Matt just killed Master Selfos for the only time he's ever gonna see him.
And when Matt gets the boss key, he's gonna be able to just extend the bridge like normal since he's got the hookshot. But we see P-Dog facing the boss of this dungeon. The boss has a 1 in 4, like, of the 4 exits where the boss can pop out of, it's entirely random. But we see P-Dog, almost getting a 2-cycle. By standing in the middle of the room, P-Dog was kind of able to hedge his bets and react quickly to which hole the boss pops out of. And with the blue tunic, it's relatively easy to get 4 hits per cycle, going for a 2-cycle. And unfortunately, he gets 4 and then 3, but cleans it up very quickly with the 3rd cycle. And that boss is made much easier by, in a normal run, the green tunic, or in a 100% run, having the blue tunic. Matt's coming up on his boss soon, and the knockback effect that the red tunic applies to the sword doesn't knock back the boss in the way it would a normal enemy, but still applies a number of iframes, additional invincibility frames, to the boss, which make the timing for getting 4 hits per cycle much tighter. So generally, with the red tunic, you're looking at a 3-cycle boss rather than 2.
Very interesting menuing from Matt here. Equipping the boomerang.
Well, with the boomerang, certain enemy, you can kill sparks with the boomerang, and you always get a guaranteed fairy drop, so I'm not sure if he does that for safety or just because.
Yeah, probably for safety.
Yeah.
Because it is.
I mean, it's certainly a fine weapon for killing the enemies in that other room as well.
Alright, so let's see how Matt does on Wall Snake. Oh, that's 4 hits on the first one.
Nice, he was able to get the 4 in.
Oh, and he gets bad RNG on the second.
So he either got 2 or 3. When you pull him out of the top, it's easy for the final hit before he goes in to not count. Yeah, so he got 4, 2, and 2.
Well,
but honestly,
it was
that
actually
was
4, 3, and 2, because the last one did not count on the second cycle.
Well, that's why I counted as 2. And other than getting a late kind of like fake hit, like a fake pull, that was a very good boss fight from Matt.
Yeah, I do think Matt is ahead right now. Because
Yeah,
P-Dog still has to go all the way to the beach and grab the boomerang.
Yeah.
And after that, he will Ocarina, and then will be converged again.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see, because Matt's using kind of an intermediary route. Just after we had incorporated early hookshot into the run, but before we done any more greater rearranging of the routes. But early hookshot alone, you know, saves a ton of time, especially using the Zora bump as he did to get the early magnifying lens.
Yeah, I think on with the route they are using, it saves a minute. It's
Yeah,
quite
something
insane.
in that ballpark for sure. So, I mean, we haven't seen either runner make any, you know, major mistakes in quite a while, but we see Matt quite a bit ahead, I think probably just because of his route.
Yeah, probably about just shy of a minute ahead. Alright, so it's time for the signpost maze, better known as Monk S maze, where if you talk to a sign twice, which is very easy to do, you could start over from the beginning. It's just horrible. Oh, Matt's struggling with this a little. Alright.
He's going for a bit of a hookshot jump. Nowadays we do kind of what we call a diagonal boot, like a dash jump, to get to that tile. But it can be a little finicky to time the button presses quickly enough, so he's just taking an extra menu to simply jump and hookshot there instead. Although I do hope he re-equips the boots, because
yeah,
there's a lot of movement around this maze, and it would really benefit him. Also, I think he's talking to the signs with his B button, possibly, and that's very dangerous to do. Talking to signs with the bracelet button, is what causes the double talks. So hopefully he's careful.
Alright.
But looks like he's gotten
he is
through.
fine.
Yep, unscathed. And as his prize for completing this maze is to visit Mamu, the worst musician in Koholint.
Quick, switch to P-Dog audio.
No, unfortunately I think the viewers need to experience this.
Yep. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Alright, sorry for ruining your ears. It's over though.
And just to Sagaz in chat saying that he's never had a problem talking to the signs with the bracelet, then I guess you're lucky. It's the bracelet that prevents you from mashing on signs. But if you talk with anything other than the bracelet, you can just mash right through the signs, which makes it a lot less scary.
Nice bonk from P-Dog dodging this hole there.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright, so Matt will now be making his way over to Dungeon 8.
So he's gonna make his second trip up the mountain.
Yep, first he has to go all the way through this cave again. And this time we'll actually get to explain obstacle skip. So yeah, later on in this cave, where you see the obstacles, you actually have a chance to just jump over one if you're high enough, close enough to the pit. And it saves a quarter of a second, but if you fail it, it wastes 2 seconds, but it's definitely worth it, and definitely required. Oh, and he gets it. Very nice.
And in this route, I think we'll be seeing them go through that cave a third time, so we'll get a second chance at obstacle skip as well.
Yeah, I imagine they will because Matt did not get that heart piece. Oh, and now it's also time for Rooster Skip. So I'll let you explain that.
So we've got a huge pit here that we're supposed to cross with the flying rooster that we revive with the song that we just got from Mamu, but getting the rooster is slow as heck, and turns out that the hookshot has an unusual property where on the final frame before it fully retracts, you can actually get an input in, and in this case, we're going to want to input the feather so that we can jump across the pit. And Matt going for the buffered setup, where he's going to buffer. Yeah, he nails it first try. Good buffers too. He didn't waste too much time with additional buffers there, especially on the second one. He got framed perfectly.
I do believe P-Dog will also be buffering.
I think so too. It costs so. When they buffer it like that, they buffer one frame at a time using the save and quit menu until they have a particular frame that they can recognize, and then they'll buffer a jump out of the map menu. It sounds complicated, but it makes the trick much more reliable, and it is possible to do it unbuffered, but it's quite difficult without some decent practice, and I think both these runners will be taking the safer approach, because you know, sacrificing 10 to 15 seconds to buffering is well worth it, considering that falling even once could cost you, you know, anywhere in the ballpark of 30 seconds, if not more.
Also, Matt just changed his menu just for swag to get butt sword.
Well appreciated.
Alright, so P-Dog also gets Rooster Skip. I didn't see how he did on it. Either way, Matt is now making his way over to the top of the mountain, and he is going to get the last capacity upgrade there, that being the powder capacity upgrade, which is utterly useless. Alright, P-Dog also gets Butt Sword.
Very important.
On the routes they're using, that's actually slower because it wastes a menu, but it's totally worth it.
And Matt there, final time we see the Mad Batter. He's got the powder upgrade finally. Really doesn't matter too much. As Xander said at the beginning, we don't really need that much powder over the course of the run. It is a fairly powerful weapon, though, to be honest. It does the same type of damage as the Magic Rod. But we never really make use of it in the run.
Yeah, and Matt messed up Flame Skip there, where you clip into the wall, and you can just dash straight past it, because he didn't clip into the wall. So he was only on half a heart, and he just had to take a death there.
Yeah,
which
not
isn't
terribly
too costly.
Yeah. And that is the only point in the game where you're required to, or supposed to be required to use the level 2 shield that you get in level 7. Because normally if you touch that fire, it has an extremely increased knockback and fires you away. But by being wall clipped, the collision is a little messed up, and you kind of just stand in place instead of getting knocked back, and then you use the iframes to simply walk through it.
Yeah, and Matt struggled a lot with that bomb trigger. I am not sure why it wasn't working.
Yeah, but he did finally get it, and luckily he's able to just walk right through the turtle head. The hitbox doesn't spawn right away, and he was right into D8. I think he's unsure if he's clipped, but he is, so he's fine.
So yeah, now he's going to go for a clip past this key block. So he's going to super jump up to the top here, and then line up Pixel perfectly. And actually jump against the ledge, because for some reason that sets up the trick. And then he can just hookshot over and clip past it.
I do also want to mention, while we're at it, that PhantomMat is currently 1.5 minutes ahead of his PB.
Ooh.
After getting a couple of big golds.
Spicy. And Matt opting to get the fairy here. Missing it though. And he's just like, whatever.
Well, to be honest, you don't need to get any safety fairies in this dungeon. Not for the final boss anyway, because we're going to be getting a... Oh, well, actually, I guess I was going to say they're going to get a heart piece in this dungeon, which will be filling a heart container, which will be an automatic refill. But I think actually for this route, he still hasn't gotten the heart container on the mountain. Unless I'm mistaken, so he might not get that free refill.
No, he won't. But, I think he might just go down here and grab the heart pickup. Or not. Feeling bold today.
And yes, P-Dog's execution this race has been very good as well. Unfortunately, I can't quite judge his pace because he is on unfamiliar hardware today. Not an ideal situation for him, which I think might be affecting him a little bit. But we won't really know what pace he's on until the end of the run. But he is still hot on Matt's heels. They're both in D8 at this point.
Oh, and Matt also still not grabbing the ferry here. He must think he's behind.
Yeah, playing a little risky. Because Hothead, the final boss, will do 4 hearts of damage no matter what. Whether it's a splash attack or whether he touches you directly, it's 4 hearts of damage, so... Matt would be able to take 2 hits at full health, but he cannot take any at this point.
Alright, so yeah, he does not get that free refill on hearts.
Yeah.
Taking a hit there really doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, 0 hits is 0 hits.
Alright, so please don't die.
And what he did there is he did a Jesus jump to sort of... When you're in water, you kind of... Link's sprite kind of gets pushed down by a couple pixels, and he takes advantage of that to then Jesus jump off the water, such that he's clipped into the wall, and then super jump to the wall. Oh, and that's what we're talking about.
So
much damage by that boss.
He knows the quick backup, because you can go through the, what's it called? Through the 2D section, but I think that's faster? I'm not even sure.
That's a good point. I think from a death, it's probably quicker just to take the 2D section.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if P-Dog has done... Yeah, P-Dog is now in the lead.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Matt, probably a little rattled, started pausing really early for his Jesus jump, but he's just going to stick it through and be consistent about it, so he gets it.
Yeah, but nothing is decided yet.
He should have kept his lava swim going and just swam to the boss room there, and he wouldn't have had the Jesus jump to get his wall clip. So that's an unfortunate little time sink for that backup, but I honestly don't blame him for not thinking of that.
Also, Wang Boys.
Yep, P-Dog getting Wang Boys. The most important trick next to obstacle skip.
Alright, Matt gets it. Almost.
And I don't know if we mentioned it, but this is a terrible, terrible boss. You have to hit him once when he leaves the lava to extinguish him, then he'll start moving around, and only then can he start taking damage. And each time you hit him, he has a large number of invincibility frames, such that you cannot damage him again until he starts moving again. And then, after his outer shell breaks, you have to hit him a couple more times. And to try to do it in one cycle and get it all done without him falling back into lava is really difficult to do. It's really difficult on execution, and if you just try to mash it out, it's really hard to get good luck.
Yeah, Matt is now about 30 seconds behind, so he can still really just pull ahead. Anything can still happen.
Yeah. So whereas in the newer routes we would end with D8, such that we would run directly to the egg at this point, we're going to see our runners climb the mountain for their third and final time to visit D7. And we should see them getting that final heart piece here with a bomb trigger. Because it's quicker than finding the hidden bombable wall and walking around to where you normally get it.
Oh, and P-Dog missed his obstacle skip. He's getting banned for 3 days. That's a rule.
I mean, it seems unfair, but it is in the rule.
We should definitely add that to the tournament rules. Oh, Matt going for a bonk strat there. It's interesting. And unbuffered, too.
That's gonna make Spice happy, because I'm pretty sure that was Spice Father's equip setup that he recently shared with us.
Struggling. I'm pretty sure he's just opening his menu too late.
Yeah, it also looks like he's... I mean, when you buffer the bomb trigger like that, you simply have to hold left into the trigger. You don't have to hold up left like he was doing, which could be affecting the things. I'm not really too sure. We might have to give Matt some pointers on bomb triggers after this run, because while he's been getting them, he seems a little unsure about the particular setups.
Right, P-Dog now opening up Dungeon 7.
And this is a fun dungeon. It's got a unique concept in the game where the dungeon is actually split between 4 separate floors. And there's a lot of pits you can fall through to fall to floors below. Normally, casually, you would have to... We're going to see coming up, there's a steel ball that you would carry around, throw at the 4 pillars, and when all 4 pillars are destroyed, that's how you access the top floor. It'll knock the top floor down. And there's a lot of backtracking and going up and down floors, and it's kind of a fun dungeon to figure out casually the first time. But we're going to make use of our lovely bombs here to simply take down the pillars one at a time, back to back. P-Dog buffering those bomb triggers, having a little trouble the first few times, but looks like he's got it now. And as we see, the bombs make short work of those pillars.
So if Matt gets some better bomb triggers in D7, then he can do some catching up.
Yeah, and for how quick the bomb triggers make this dungeon, you might not realize that you can lose a lot of time on those bomb triggers themselves. And P-Dog's getting low on bombs.
Wow, almost
one bomb
out.
Left.
While Matt still has almost 30 to spare.
Yeah. So there would, I mean, I'm sure P-Dog knows the backup for running out of bombs, but it's a good thing that he didn't, because it does waste quite a bit of time to have to restock and then make your way back.
Oh, Matt is also buffering his bomb triggers. He really does need to equip Feather in one of these buffers, though. And he doesn't, so that's going to cost him an extra menu.
And oh, jeez, P-Dog getting knocked down a floor there.
Oh no, P-Dog.
Although at least it's a very easy recovery to take, because the switches were down, he was able to just walk right back up.
Did he fall in the Hinox room?
Yeah, the fireball hit him and knocked him into the pit.
Okay, so that's not the worst then.
Yeah, if the switches were up, that would have been much more irritating.
P-Dog just leaving, get some extra bombs.
Which is a smart decision, potentially, because he's going to need more bombs later to bomb trigger the final boss. And in D6 as well. Both runners still have to do Dungeon 6. And P-Dog opting not to roll the dice on Goomba Surf, and instead just go for the tried and true, really cool looking P-Hat super jump there to kind of super jump, clink off the P-Hat, and land on the raised blocks, thus skipping the need for the boss key. And since these runners have gone to D8 before D7, we're going to see them do a really cool quick kill using the magic rod. Oh, well,
Matt does not pick up the bombs.
Peter's not doing the cool quick kill, but he's going to do...
A quick kill.
A quick kill, yeah. By just spamming the magic rod left and right, he can get really early hits on the boss, and it only takes 3, so he's dead. I hope we get to see Matt show off the cool quick kill, because it's only possible in categories like this with save and quit.
Yeah, and interesting how that works
as well. And
so let's see if
one of the best parts of this old route is you get to see double Wang Boys. You get to have the fire rod in an extra dungeon.
Oh, Matt does not appear to know how this works.
No, he knows how it works, but unfortunately he was too far to the side and clinked the platform instead.
Yeah.
And luckily
I
he
guess
remembered
he,
that he could equip the magic rod for the better damage. Wait,
I guess he didn't know that he needs to be above the ladder for it.
Well, yeah. But it was unusual. He did seem to go for the hookshot quick kill at first, but yeah, I'm glad he remembered to equip the magic rod.
And Matt is now 42 seconds behind.
And we didn't mention it, but we're going to see Matt do it in a second. Upon leaving D7, P-Dog took a quick dash down and fell down that pit directly below D7 into that flooded cave by D4. And that was to get that very well hidden heart piece under the water. And he's now made his way to Animal Village for the final time. With the magnifying lens in his inventory, he can now discover the Zora and get what should be his final photo.
Yeah, he'll probably do a picture check before he enters the egg.
And now heads up toward D6. He's going to have to go through the Armos maze. He's going to get his final seashell from this maze, as well as the key for D6. And Matt cartwheeling into the Zora room. I'm not sure if we caught P-Dog doing that or not. Just a fun little glitch. Also, Crevone is right. The mouse in that cutscene is white and blue rather than pink and purple like he should be.
This is the mouse's brother because he died on the cliff. Oh god, P-Dog. That sound.
It's so easy to get kind of ganged up on by all those enemies. And
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, and the shield hitbox is kind of weird, and you'll just get kind of bounced around. So, navigating through this maze with all these enemies is a lot harder than it looks, but luckily, in this run we've got so many hearts, and P-Dog especially having the blue tunic, he's not at risk of dying or anything, but, you know, he is losing a bit of time here or there.
Alright, so P-Dog is now at the Armos King, where he's hopefully gonna pull off a cool quick kill. Definitely is not. If you position yourself right, you can put a fireball on the wall and hit him into it, and it'll just hit him a billion times instantly.
Yeah, because fire kind of lingers when it hits a solid object, and enemies can take multiple hits from the same flame that way. And P-Dog did seem to go for it, but he shot the fire too early. I mean, he shot the magic too early. It's clearly not fire.
Right. You kill him with magic.
Yeah. To say in chat, they are almost using the same route, except PhantomMat did get early hookshot. But neither one is using the newest route that you would be using.
So Matt is also just shooting the fire rod instead of going for the quick kill. Oh, and he actually didn't get stunned, which is nice. Usually when you just shoot him a billion times, you do get stunned once. Also, I believe Matt just did a seashell check there.
Yeah, always better to check if you're not sure. Because coming up on D6, if they found out that they were short one seashell, there is a backup seashell that they can get while they're here. I didn't see the check, but I don't think I've noticed either runner miss a seashell to this point, so hopefully they're okay. But we see P-Dog, he took the underground passage up to D6, and rather than going into D6, he immediately hopped off, and he's going to grab the level 2 sword now here from the mansion. And just a weird quirk of the way the game stores your last used warp point. For the purpose of saving quitting, you always warp back to your last used exit, but the game will not save a warp point if it's one of these 2D sections. So he's simply going to save and quit back here, and he's going to warp right back to that cave by D6. Which is a really cool little routing consideration that unfortunately we don't get to take advantage of in newer routes. And Matt now doing the same.
I think Matt might opt to wait a little bit and grab some more hearts from this refill. Maybe not.
We'll
you don't
see.
really need that many in D6, but
D6 is
better
not too
safe than
dangerous,
sorry.
and worst case scenario, you're going to take a heart, like worst case scenario is a 1.5 damage in this underground section coming up. So if he's aware of that, he might simply choose to take all the damage and maybe grab the fairy in the bracelet room. P-Dog getting through without any hits. And P-Dog obviously not going to grab the fairy, he's well stocked on health.
Yeah, P-Dog grabs the level 2 bracelet, which is literally the only reason to go to the left side of the dungeon. And
once again, a largely useless upgrade. The only thing that level 2 bracelet allows you to do differently is pick up the large elephant statues that are only present in this dungeon, as well as unlock the rooster statue in Mabe Village to revive the rooster. But as you saw, we did not revive the rooster, we did not need him, we will not be getting him.
Interesting menu from Matt here.
Ooh,
Equipping the boomerang rather than arrows.
P-Dog doing the old school Wizrobe room strat there of shooting 2 bomb arrows to kill them right as they spawn, and honestly he nails it. It's really cool to see one of those older strats. I assume we'll see Matt going for probably the more modern strat of placing a single bomb down and knocking the Wizrobes into it.
Which, with Red Tunic, is actually quite a bit harder.
Yeah, it is quite difficult.
It gives you a knockback effect, and you need to just time it really well to actually have the Wizrobe get hit by the bomb.
Yeah, doing the old school bomb arrow strat wouldn't be a bad backup for runners who aren't comfortable with the Red Tunic knockback.
Oh, Matt is going for a bomb arrow.
You have so many bombs and arrows.
Oh, I don't think Matt realized that he couldn't shoot a bomb arrow with a bomb already on screen.
Yeah. Yeah, the game only supports a single bomb on screen at a time, and that includes the bomb part of a bomb arrow. So he shot it a little too early, but...
oh, and I didn't see P-Dog's horse heads, but he seems to have gotten through it quickly.
Very quickly, yeah. Probably a first or second try, if I had to guess.
Yeah, he's been practicing.
It'd be foolish to go into a race without practicing horse heads. Well, we got Corin saying it was first try, so...
Very nice.
P-Dog equipping the Mambo's Mambo early, because he is going to be warping back to Mambo's Pond after this dungeon, and it saves the menu if you do it now, but you want to be very careful to not accidentally hit that button and warp back to the beginning of the dungeon.
I've done that before.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be easy to simply not hit a button, but, you know, you just accidentally hit it.
Yeah, it's just, when you're just mashing this text, if you mash it with both buttons, it's so easy to use Ocarina.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think Matt got first try. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I keep forgetting to watch.
Yeah.
But on the topic of Mambo, we saw even from Hollows early in this tournament, it's easy to accidentally hit that button even at the very end of a dungeon after you've beaten the boss. So I guess chat's confirming your suspicion that Matt also had amazing horse heads. Both.
Ooh, Matt, don't die.
Which is, you know, it's good for both runners to get great RNG on horse heads, but it's also a little unfortunate that neither one was able to capitalize on that good luck since they kind of mashed each other.
Alright, so Matt actually took a hit from the Beamos, so he just went ahead and killed the Spark for a fairy. Which is pretty nice routing there.
But yeah, this is it. This is, that was the final instrument. D6 is the last dungeon, so they're making their final trip to the top of the map, and they're going to visit the egg. For, in my opinion, probably the best cutscene in the game. Getting to finally hear all 8 instruments played at once to unlock the egg.
Oh, and P-Dog does not do a picture check.
He knows. He's confident.
And Matt is now over a minute behind.
Yeah, unfortunately. Unfortunately for Matt. Just, I mean, despite the... Actually, I should shut up and let you guys enjoy the song. But yeah, despite the extra time save that Matt has from early hookshot, it just kind of got away from him late game, and P-Dog managed to pull ahead. P-Dog not making any mistakes, really, in the later half of the
Matt
run.
hadn't died on Hothead, this would actually have been really close.
Yeah, that's true, actually. But looking at Matt's splits, he's still 2 minutes ahead of his PB, so he's having a great run, you know, and just a list of golds after gold. So definitely not to disparage Matt, he's having a fantastic run. And you never know, I mean, Matt here is opening the egg, and P-Dog's just entering the final boss fight. Unfortunately, misses the bomb trigger, so he's going to lose 10 seconds here to getting this text box, but we get rewarded by getting to hear the boss music, which is really great. But there is RNG here. P-Dog opting not to go for the blob quick kill at all. He might not know the setup for not getting the tech skip, so that's going to.
Also, I should point out Matt is at 3 bombs, so I don't know if he can still get the tech skip.
But if you just kind of mash and hope. So if he mistimes those mash presses and just kind of drops those 3 bombs, you know.
Yeah, and also if he doesn't realize he's on 3 bombs and just goes for some swag bombs here, he can't get it anymore. Alright, so let's see blue balls for P-Dog.
So P-Dog getting the first 2 hits. The first 2 hits from Aghanim are always guaranteed to be reflectable, but now he's got a 50-50 chance of getting blue balls. Blue balls cannot be reflected to damage Aghanim. He gets 1 so far, so we'll see how this goes.
That's 2. Oh, he could have manipped this, actually, if he was standing in a good position before.
Yeah, but there's 3 out of 4 hits.
That's 3 blue balls.
So you can see here all the time he's losing. It's roughly 8 seconds per blue ball, and there's nothing he can really do about it.
4.
Matt missing the blob quick kill.
Oh no.
But he did
4
get the
blue
tech
balls
skip.
for P-Dog.
So between the tech skip and those blue balls for P-Dog, Matt could catch up here. And P-Dog misses the timing on the Moldorm quick kill here, unfortunately. Trying to go for spin slashes, I really think you should just mash the tail, because it's quite easy to get hits in just by mashing.
Yeah, this is not doing
Oh my
too well.
god. Well, he gets it though. He's on to Ganon.
P-Dog should have this in the bag now.
I'm not sure how Matt's doing on blue balls.
Neither am I. I think he might have only done the first 2 hits so far.
Yeah, so this is the final phase of Deathel. A single shot, for whatever reason, the game designers decided that the boomerang would 1-hit kill this final phase. So it's just going to come down to RNG and how quickly Deathel's going to choose to open his eye. It is completely RNG, similar to Aghanim phases, and not bad. So P-Dog still managing to clutch it, although that was very close. It looks like Matt is getting dicked around a bit by blue balls here, because he's still on Aghanim.
Yep, and P-Dog finishes with an official SRL time of 1:33.47. So
GG to P-Dog.
I don't think he'll be joining us for an interview, but I'll ask anyway.
I'll be curious to see from chat how many blue balls that Matt's gotten, because I've already witnessed 3, and I wasn't paying attention from the beginning. So unfortunately, Matt just getting terrible luck from Aghanim, especially on what should be a PB pace run. But him taking care of Moldorm. Moldorm is very easy to take care of with the red tunic and the level 2 sword. So yeah, I'm not sure if P-Dog will be joining us, but we'll keep an eye out for him.
P-Dog will be joining us. I'm not sure if he has the link to the thing. Let's see.
He should be able to get his hands on. And there we go with Matt, his final hit on the boss with the boomerang. Such a close race, really like roughly a minute apart. And like he'd said, if Matt hadn't died on Hothead there, or any number of things, like this was a really close race.
Hi.
Hello, is my voice live?
Yes.
Yep, you're good.
Okay.
I just want to point out that just before we interview P-Dog, GG to Matt. He had some bad RNG on that final boss, but he still pulled off, I'm pretty sure, a PB for himself there.
Yeah, I
So
think his
congrats to him.
PB is 138.
But GG P-Dog, good game on the win there.
GG.
That was pretty bad, to be honest.
You're not happy with
I
that?
think I died 3 times more than I should have.
Well,
Yeah,
it made
the
for a
early
good
game was
race.
really bad.
Because I mean, coming into it, we knew that you had a much bigger PB than Matt, but Matt had a lot of golds, like a lot of time to save on a sum of best, and you hadn't quite been as active recently, so we weren't quite sure how it was going to play out. So it was actually a really tight race, and the only difference between your two routes was that Matt was going for early magnifying lens and early hookshot, and it was a really tight race, even up to the end there.
Yeah,
Matt
I didn't
unfortunately
go for
dying at Hothead and
So-
putting back a bit.
I guess curses are real then, aren't they?
Hothead,
Why, did you curse
man.
yourself this time by accident?
Hothead, yes. I think everything else went on P-Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although you did get great horsehead RNG, both of you.
Yeah, I got first try, which was pretty
Um,
legendary.
I think I've sown fields of gold.
Yeah. So I was actually watching both your streams. P-Dog unfortunately didn't have his normal splits, but I did get to see that you were ahead of PB for that entire run, Matt, and just getting
That's-
loads of golds.
That is absolutely not true.
Well, like from-
Everything up until Color Dungeon was in the red except for the date night split.
Yeah. So I mean,
After
two-thirds of
that-
the run, you were well ahead of your PB.
And I think the only reason why I didn't gold on Enter D5 was because when I had these splits way back when, I had forgotten the moat heart piece, so I did that
no.
later in that run.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, this was actually a really close race. You switched leads a couple times, and then in the end, when Matt died to Hothead, that was just pretty much it.
Yeah. I went in there and I don't know. Hothead. It got me.
Yeah.
I hate using the magic rod.
Well,
Yeah,
we
and
were
I-
watching you
Go ahead.
skipping the Blano ferry and the cue ball ferry, and just wondering like does he know the state of the race? Like, is he kind of YOLOing
No.
it because?
I didn't have any chats open except for mine the entire time.
Okay. But yeah, so like going into that fight with 2.5 or 3 hearts, whatever it was.
I thought I could do it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where most of the time you're not going to take any hits from Hothead, but unfortunately that was the time you did.
So, B-Dog, how's your heart? Suspenseful enough for you?
Yeah, I guess.
Ooh, that was fun. Oh, yeah, and I popped Wolfos, finally. I take back the lead.
You did
That's
it.
the story of the tournament, the rivalry between White Wolfos and PhantomMat.
Let's go.
Get to see them trade once again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was good. So I mean, awesome to see a PB in a race, and I'm sure P-Dog, you're not too happy with this run, but it made for a really exciting race.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good run, but I guess it made it more enjoyable for people to watch.
Yeah, and you were still able to clutch it out in the end. So
The curses only work to increase suspense and entertainment.
yeah, because Matt, you're nothing if not entertaining,
Thank you.
and you even just applied it to this whole race this time.
Jesus Christ. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this, because like I said, I wasn't watching any chat except for mine, and then Node and Xander started posting my boys all over my chat, and I'm like, no, I've got to be behind. They're full of shit.
You were actually behind when we posted
I know.
that.
I figured as much, because I did pop up chat once, and that was after Hothead, and he said God tier hot, and I'm like, well, shit, I'm in the middle of this fight. Well, okay.
Oh yeah, I got a really good hot hat, but I just posted in
Yeah.
IRC because
And you really also just pulled ahead with early hook shot. Because
Yeah.
P-Dog did not do that.
I think that route
That was
is like
actually the
significantly
first.
faster.
Was actually the first race period where I'd done it. I learned it maybe 4 hours ago.
Nice. Well, you got it first try, so worth it.
I had to reset a couple times, but yeah.
Well, we were watching you with the Zora bump, and we weren't quite sure. Like, we knew what setup you were going for, but you were clipped into the railing, which is a little higher than normally you would set up for. And then it looked like you kind of started buffering your select buffers late, and I really wasn't sure that you were going to get it, but you did. So
You gotta have faith.
Yeah, I was really happy to see it work out for you. That setup is definitely a lot more lenient than I realized. So that was awesome.
Like
Yeah,
I
that was
knew. I know on the
sketchy.
flower spot because I was looking earlier and I was seeing the entire range of it, and I knew I was pretty good with the range. Because this time you have to start doing it is huge.
Yeah, it really is. And I only learned that setup myself recently as well, and I didn't realize just how wide the range was, you know?
Yeah. Well, like I said, P-Dog, congratulations for the win.
Yeah, and congratulations on your PB.
So Matt unfortunately dropping to 0-2 in the Swiss round, but at least getting his PB is a consolation. And P-Dog moving up into the 1-1 bracket, which is going to be an interesting bracket going into round 3 with quite a range of PBs of people who've gotten wins and losses. So following this run, we're going to be inputting this match and seeing what challenge does to us.
Well, here's hoping for the Spice Father PhantomMat run. Pure entertainment, no good speed running ever.
I would like to see that matchup.
That would be something. That would be something.
Yeah. There's quite a few matches we can hope for in that round 3. We'll have to see if we get them. But yeah, so that was a fun matchup between you guys. I think we're good to call it now. But
Yes, we are.
but thanks everyone for tuning in. I know this is a particularly busy time slot on Twitch in general and speed gaming in particular. Unfortunately, competing against handheld heroes